Well, TreadRight is always working to ensure the communities we visit remain vibrant, and a big part of what helps to make each of the destinations special is their unique traditions and heritage activities. Not only are heritage activities important to local culture, they're also vital to local economies. Artisan work helps to create jobs and build connections to the global marketplace, empowering individuals in the process. However, integrating artisans into the global marketplace can be a challenge. So to help overcome this challenge, TreadRight, in partnership with the Aspen Institute's Alliance for Artisan Enterprise, is providing grants to artisans engaged in the creation of handmade and culturally significant products. We are already working to help support artisan projects in Peru and Greece, with more to come. We're also proudly supporting a heritage project right here in Italy's gorgeous Umbria region. I've actually come here to meet the inspiring Marta Cucchia and learn about her story as an artisan defying the odds in order to keep her beautiful heritage alive at the Laboratorio Giuditta Brozzetti, here in one of the oldest Franciscan churches in Italy. I'm just really excited to meet her. I think to start, it would be fantastic just to hear your personal family story. How did you end up in this space weaving?
My great-grandmother started with this studio, not in this place. I moved the studio in this place in the 1996. And she started because we have a very old tradition in Umbria about materials. In the medieval time, Perugia was so famous about the Perugian tablecloth. And this kind of work was lost in the century because changed the style and everything. And then some family conserved the old technique, and my great-grandmother started to buy to the farmer and sell in Perugia.
And why is weaving important in Perugia or in Umbria? Is there a history specifically here?
Yeah, because Perugia in the medieval time was the most important town in Italy about materials. We started to make this kind of material called the medieval Perugian tablecloth in white and blue. But in the 15th century, we started to make this kind of material, the flame of Perugia, very, very particular kind of work. But this technique survived only in a convent. It's so complicated.
Now you're specifically in textiles, but in general, why is it that this type of work, an artisan's type of work, is important for the community?
So many studios like this started. Unfortunately, they closed because it's impossible to live. We are one of the last. And but this kind of work, female work, it was a kind of support for the family. Then in the first part of the 20th century, started so many kind of studio of ladies to help these women. And if I stop my work, for example, we cut the long thread of the tradition. And this is not it's impossible to write a book about the technique. It's only an oral tradition. And it's so important to conserve.
So how do you keep this going, this artisanry going, if it's not economically viable to sell the pieces for what they're worth?
I think there are people who want this kind of material and who want to pay a special price and not cheap price for these materials. And we have to find. And then it's not enough the people who arrive in my studio, because I met 2,000 people a year. It's a lot, but it's not too much. It's not enough to survive. Then I will use this grant to make a new website with an e-commerce.
So I know you describe this as your studio, as your passion.
Yeah.
It's also a museum, so people can come visit.
Yeah. I have so many tourists at year, and this is fantastic because I can meet so many people who love, like me, my work. And then for me, it's my favorite thing.
I think it's obvious that you love what you do.
Yeah.
People are inspired by passion.
Yeah.
People are inspired by artisanry and craft and history and heritage and legacy. The world over, we inherit what our families are. We inherit what our culture and our community is. What we do with it is up to us. And I think you have done such a beautiful homage to who you are and what your past is. That was a phenomenal treat. To be able to meet Marta and hear her story of passion and inspiration from the time of her great-grandmother, whose namesake is on this place, to the history of this church and how she brought this ancient art of weaving back into the day of today. This is truly worth the visit. I think as far as traveling goes and tourism goes, if we can support local artisans to continue their heritage and their passion, that is one way that we can contribute back to the communities that we visit. So for me, I mean, I feel inspired and proud to be a TreadRight ambassador, and through that support people like Marta and the work that they're doing. It's a real treat to meet people like that. So I'm very thankful for this.